chose not to have the surgery. He chose to rest and relax and hope it goes away. And then he ended.
We took a look at Gilmore, and if we got Gilmore, we win in the division. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel like Stephon Gilmore.
Richard Rodgers. He's with our team over the last couple of years. It's just about our fourth time picking him up. What does that mean for...
Welcome to another episode of Birdgang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Birdgang 31. Today, Nation, we bring back a very special guest, the hype man himself, Mr. EROCK. The mighty EROCK is in the building. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited that we're almost to the season opener down in Atlanta. We're like this close to Eagles football right now, and I'm pumped for it. I cannot wait. So thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, thank you for taking the time out to come on, man. I've been pumped, man. I've been pumped. No more videos of what ifs, what could.
Yeah.
We about to see the Birds go out there and play some real football, man. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait for it. I also seen that we did pick up a cornerback today, Mac McClain off the Broncos practice squad. The shocking thing is he went straight to the active roster. So we should see what this guy got, because I don't know too much about him. But if the Eagles think something highly of him, then hey, who are we to judge him?
Yeah, a GM's work in the NFL is never over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're constantly looking to upgrade the roster, and they'll go back and they'll revisit. They got a pro personnel scouting, the kind of department that works with the the college scouting department, and they might have grades on guys that maybe slipped in the draft. Maybe they had a 4th round grade on a guy. He went late, ended up on somebody's practice squad. They see an opportunity to bring somebody on. So a lot of these, kind of unknown guys that end up on other people's practice squads, they either had a high grade on coming out of college, or they just, they just liked from a pro personnel standpoint and brought them on. But I'm not surprised that they're continuing to bolster the secondary. We kind of know as Eagles fans what it was like to have a banged up secondary over the last couple of years. It was not fun. It was not a good time. So to have depth along, that crucial position in the NFL is not a bad thing.
Yeah. So, hey, hopefully it works out and we don't have to get to that depth, especially not in game 1. I want to see Slay, Nelson, and Maddox stay in the whole game. Maybe get some of the rookie in, McPherson, and to get a couple snaps. But other than that, that's how I want our secondary to stay. So how do you like the Birds so far, man? It's been a while since you've been on the show. I haven't got your take on the whole off season. We got controversy out there with the Eagles as always. Some fans are mad that we didn't see enough starters in the preseasons. I'm on the side of, hey, Nick Sirianni said he had 7 preseason games. They went good. Everything we heard from these joint practices was the number ones. We're lighting them up on both the Patriots and the Jets. So I'm confident with the guys. What I'm saying? They didn't need to play in there. And I hope we kind of move the lead toward more joint practices, maybe like 4 in the offseason, and just use the preseason games to, evaluate the talent in the bottom half of the roster.
I'm so glad the preseason is behind us, my man. I'm so glad, because the preseason annually is just like it's just like a petri dish for bad takes, right? We bash players that end up being good. We fall in love with players that end up being average. I can't help but think back to Sam Bradford and how he looked in preseason. Oh my God, he's going to light up the world. Paul Turner's another name. We fall in love with these like preseason darlings.
Mm-hmm.
And then once upon a time, Nick Foles was one of those preseason darlings. And we were kind of like, okay. I mean, he looked okay, but it's just preseason. As far as Nick Sirianni having these joint practices, I'm not going to lie to you and say that, part of me isn't raising an eyebrow here, being like, all right, so we're just going to poo-poo off preseason, huh? We're just going to, brand new head coach, brand new relatively new quarterback, brand new offensive system, brand new players, brand new defensive system, brand new draft picks. And we're just going to kind of where every snap is critical, considering that there's only 3 of them now, which, hey, God bless. 4 of them was just way too long.
Yeah.
But I don't want to poo-poo off the preseason because, there's a point to be made in that 2017 season where Nick Foles had to treat those final 3 games of the regular season when Carson Wentz got hurt kind of as his preseason because he didn't have one, right? His elbow was hurting him. He didn't play in the preseason, so he needed that time to kind of warm up and get ready for the postseason. Jalen Hurts, a lot of people want to point at Jalen Hurts' stats or the tape or, how he performed. I thought he performed well given the fact that there was no preseason last year. There wasn't an opportunity to have regular OTAs. And so I don't want to poo-poo off the preseason. I think it's important. I have one eyebrow raised, but I'm going to give Nick the benefit of the doubt here and say, all right, maybe he has a point. Maybe practicing with another team that isn't practicing against the same guy or same couple guys every single day. Maybe another guy in another helmet and another uniform. Maybe the 2-day joint practice is better than playing in the preseason game. And then there's the injury thing to think about. Everyone's, anti-pre or pro preseason. They should have played more in the preseason. They should have played. If Jalen Hurts got injured, if one of the offensive linemen got injured, what would you and I be discussing today?
Right.
But, they shouldn't be playing these damn starters in the preseason. They're meaningless games, and now he's lost for the season. So,
yeah, there's a lot of big stars that went down this preseason. And you know what? As Eagles fans, we can at least say that we're starting the season with all of our, 22 starters going into the preseason. I mean, the first game of the season, healthy. That we haven't been able to say that over the last couple of years. So, obviously what he's doing is working. You know what I'm saying? Now, the trickery that he's doing with all this, I'm holding back my plays, to catch some people off guard thing, if it doesn't work, there's going to be some problems. You know what I'm saying? If we go into this Atlanta game and, fall flat on our face, what were you holding back and, where was the trickery at? So
I do buy into that a little bit because preseason is more, you really aren't trying to give anything away. I mean, it was notorious, a very vanilla, and it's always been like that for every single head coach. Listen, if you're throwing your good shit, in preseason, why would you want to put that on tape? And, I do remember a conversation I had with an assistant coach at the time where it was, part of Doug Peterson's success in that second year where they won the Super Bowl was the fact that the RPOs were 2016. It was like 30% of the offense. And then 2017 was like 75% of the offense because nobody had tape on it and nobody could figure it out. After the Super Bowl, when people had tape on it and defensive coordinators, listen, these defensive coordinators, they've been in the game for a long time. They're no dummies. They're not going to see something. Maybe they see something and it catches them off guard. Maybe they see something they don't know how to game plan for. You give 1 or 2 years of tape on a particular offensive system, these defensive coordinators around the league are eventually going to figure it out. So it always makes me laugh when somebody comes in like a Chip Kelly and it's like, oh, he's going to revolutionize the game. No, he's not, man. These defensive coordinators are going to catch on. They said the same thing about Steve Spurrier. They said the same thing about a lot of coaches and how they're going to revolutionize the game. You give defensive coordinators enough time, they will figure your ass out. So maybe there is something to just being like, okay, there's no tape on us yet. There's no tape on our defense. There's no tape on our offense. Why show our cards in preseason?
No. Yeah, like I said, I'm on this team right now. You know what I'm saying? But we don't.
I can switch.
I can switch real fast. You know what I'm saying? We don't come
fast,
light it up. I want to see at least 3 touchdowns. if not more, this first game since you've been holding all these plays back and you're holding all this stuff back. And I want to see our defense come in there, get some 3-and-outs quick and fast and easy since you're holding back all these special, packages that we have on defense and things like that. So these coaches staff, hopefully they know what they're doing. I am backing them right now, and we'll see what happens come game one. Let's talk about Hurts, man. Are you sold on them yet?
I'm a Hurts believer. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made with Carson, which is just blind faith. The man can do no wrong. Second coming of football Jesus. I'm not gonna go down that path again and just be all aboard. Like he does need to prove it. However, from what I saw from the guy last year, I was pro Hurts. I was like, okay, this needs to be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles moving forward. And everybody wants to throw the stats or different statistics out there about his performance. And you got to understand again that this guy didn't have a preseason, so he was coming in completely cold. But from what you could kind of see in joint practices, the limited time that I did see him and open practices, you really get a sense of like he's in command now. It's like he's growing up before our eyes, and I think he'll be better prepared. I think he's more of a leader. I think he's got the mentality capable of handling a city like Philadelphia, and I'm excited to see what he can do on the field. And listen, if Nick Sirianni is genuinely that guy that's going to kind of customize his offense to the strengths of his players, Jalen Hurts is a guy that brings a lot to the table, man, a lot to the table. And so I'm really curious and really excited and thinking I have very high hopes of what those two can do together.
Oh yeah, man. Let's start breaking down some of this team. Now we got the quarterback out the way. How do you feel about the Eagles only keeping 3 linebackers? I know we brought Jordan Howard back, onto the practice squad. How do you feel about Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott?
The running backs?
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good rotation. I wouldn't be surprised. Jordan Howard seems like the old man on the practice squad, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets, elevated up. I think Miles Sanders is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Still struggles with catching the ball, but I think, the struggles of Miles Sanders in previous year, especially last year, was due to an incredibly mix and match. They broke the record for offensive line combinations in the NFL. Yeah. And I think there was like 14 of them. It's never happened before. So you've got, a makeshift patchwork offensive line. You've got Carson, who's just struggling. And then on top of that, you've got Doug Peterson, who just refused to run the ball. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, Miles Sanders is a Derrick Henry type where he just needs to be fed. You need Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon's kind of the same way where, you need to constantly keep feeding them the ball. But you can't.
He needs to get the ball.
Yeah, he needs to get the ball, and they need to run the ball and dedicate themselves to the run when it's appropriate. Both with the score and just kind of setting it up. You know what I mean? Like if there's so many things that Doug Peterson did last year that was so frustrating, and getting away from the run was one of them. So you can easily point to all that and say that's why Miles Sanders had a down year. I think he's going to, when all said and done, I think top 5 would be a little aggressive, but I do think top 10 running back in the league. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like you said before, man, Doug was trying to set up the pass with the pass, and that never works, man. You got to set up the pass with the run, man. Doug, you kind of played yourself right out of Philly.
Yeah, I mean, those plays, that's a great way of putting it. He set up the pass with the pass. Too many 3-and-outs, too many third and longs. He was not setting himself up for third and shorts, keeping himself behind the sticks constantly. And, a big part of that is, not using the running back and not using the running back efficiently. I like Boston Scott as sort of a Darren Sproles role, where he's going to be, catching passes. And Gainwell, there's a lot to like about him. So I think he's going to contribute as well. And again, don't forget about Jordan Howard. I don't think he's going to stay on the practice squad very long. I think he would.
Yeah, and I know they get to pull up 2 players off the practice squad every game. To suit them up if they need to. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he'd be one of those 2 players every time if he does stay on there for a little while. Just that extra roster spot.
And I still think he's got something left to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't help but remember that Buffalo game, up there at Ralph Wilson Stadium where, Miles Sanders was breaking off a big run, and who was playing? There was 2 backs in the backfield, and it was Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to the combinations, the mixing and the matching of the personnel. That's going to be a very curious thing. Like how many times do we see 12? How many times do we see Goddard and Ertz on the same field? How many times do we see the 3 wide receivers? How many times did he use 2 running backs? How many times? We know nothing about this offense, so it's going to be very interesting how they use these weapons.
Yeah, man. And speaking of Goddard, it is a contract season. They have said that contract talks have stalled for now. And we got Ertz back, and he's saying that he wants to retire Eagle. So how do you see this playing out?
Exactly the way you think it is, where Ertz and the Eagles split amicably at the end of the season. Goddard gets his contract. Very rarely, very rarely have you seen Howie Roseman or the Eagles front office, bang a contract either right before or during the season. That's always been their MO. All that contract stuff happens after the season. They did want to trade Ertz. It's as simple as that. They did want to trade Ertz. They weren't going to get back the value that they wanted for him. So he's better off on the roster. They drafted Dallas Goedert at the same age that Zach Ertz was when Zach Ertz was drafted to replace Brent Selleck. There was kind of that same, it's so weird because it's going down the same path, right? We were wondering, Selleck's getting longer in the tooth. Selleck's, probably going to retire an Eagle. Selleck's, blah, 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 blah. And then when Zach Ertz breakout year? Remember all the talk is when Zach Ertz breakout year? That seems so long ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. And here we are going, when's Dallas Goedert's breakout year? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now, granted, Brent Selleck got to kind of retire on top.
Yeah.
Chances of Zach Ertz being able to do that with the Eagles are pretty slim. I don't want to say never after 2017. But right. I do think Goddard's going to be here long term. There's a reason why they traded back and let the Baltimore Ravens select Lamar Jackson, and they selected Dallas Goedert. They're not going to let a second-round pick, when that was their first pick of the year that year, slip away. That's not going to happen.
I kind of feel like maybe they're going to do the old thing where, Howie's building that stock back up. Like you said, he wasn't getting the things that he wanted to get out of a trade. And he's like, you got to get out there and you got to play hard and you got to show that you are a leader and, got to make it seem like you want to be here and you need to be here. And obviously we can use you here for now anyway for the start of the season, But once trading deadline comes around, we got that guy, Tyree Jackson, who looked pretty hot in the preseason there, coming back off of injury. So maybe then we'll trade him off and then have Tyreek and Goddard start their era.
Yeah, I just think when you're in this phase, I'm a big believer in teams' arc, right? Mm-hmm. And the Eagles' arc, they're right at the bottom. So their trajectory is up. So you're trying to fill holes. You're not trying to make holes. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to let Dallas walk at the end of the year and Zach Ertz probably goes, maybe stay getting older, whatever, maybe he gets traded. Like, why are you trying to – you wouldn't create a void on your own at tight end and then need to either draft a guy or, sign a free agent. That just makes no sense.
Well, I think in terms of they would be replacing Zach, getting some compensation back for him and then letting Tyreek Hill slide into that. I mean, Tyreek Jackson slide into that second tight end position.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's one of those training camp darlings. He was wowing some people with the athletic ability. Dude's
the size.
Dude's a quarterback. You know what I mean? And he's coming off a broken back. Mm-hmm. So how much does that mean that he won't turn into something? Hopefully he does. He has the size, he has the ability, he has kind of the he's just a big dude. He's a big dude, and he's made a lot of impressive catches according to the beat writers that have been there in training camp. But banking your future at tight end on him, that's risky business, and I'm not sure that's wise. That doesn't make a lot of business sense.
Yeah, probably would be smart just keeping him to the end of the season, letting him, normally, and go ahead and get Goddard's contract out of the way. By then, you'll know what you got by like week 7 or something. You know what you got in Goddard. Is he going to take that next step and become an elite tight end or not? Or is he going to be just, an average tight end? And you'll know how much money you want to give him at that time. So
I don't think he's going to be – I don't think Goddard, and they could prove me wrong, I don't think Goddard's going to be elite. I don't think he's going to be a Greg Olsen or who is the guy – in New Orleans and then went to Seattle and went to Green Bay. What's that?
Was it Cooks? Oh no. Jimmy
Graham. Like I don't think he's going to turn into a Jimmy Graham type, but I think he's going to be a well above average tight end.
They get that ranking right now. What, number 7, and they rank Zach Ertz number 10 right now on the NFL ranking.
Yeah. So if at number 7 right now, if that ranking is as accurate as preseason rankings can be, that would be an above average, but not elite. The guy's not going to be Travis Kelce.
Right.
But I take Dallas Goedert almost over 90% of the tight ends out there.
Yeah, true that. Let's jump on the offensive line. There's a couple of questions here. Are you happy that Mailata was able to win the job against Dillard?
Mm-hmm. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. I love this guy. I love his personality. I love his story, and I love the fact that at the end of last season, there were so many injuries along the offensive line that they were like, I don't care, whatever. Throw Mailata in there. Let's see what he can do. It almost seemed like they were just, hey, Aussie, go get your helmet, get in the game.
We need somebody.
And then the boy was whooping ass.
Yeah.
Like he's got a nasty streak in him for as much of a sweetheart as he's, you see him singing and playing the guitar and you're like, oh, this guy is just like, Bruno Mars got all hulked up like the Incredible Hulk, right?
Right.
And, he's got an incredible first step. He's nasty. He's technically sound, which is just incredible. When you come to think that dude never played football before. But that's a credit to Stoutland and the ability to really kind of – it's almost like in any sort of occupation or any sort of job, when you've got a guy that's been doing it since high school and then in college and maybe even a little in the pros and you sign as a free agent and you plug him into your system, chances are he's good, but there's a lot of bad habits you have to unlearn, right? Or your blocking system, you have to, he does this. It's not the greatest fit. We're trying to break that hat. With Mailata, it was just a big, giant 6'8", 300+ pound lump of clay, and you could mold it any way you wanted to. Right. Stoutland molded him to be the perfect left tackle for this offense. And then speaking on Dillard, I want to say speaking on Dillard, and then I just don't know what to say about the guy. He said, everything you hear about from the beat reporters of Dillard he doesn't seem like he has that dog in him, man. Mm-hmm. And, when Nick Sirianni talks about this competition, some of it sounds like high school Harry talk, and it certainly threw me for a loop in the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. But you realize he's talking more about fight for your rod, fight. Just fight. Just have that dog in you. Want it? Fight. And I'm not sure that's Dillard's game, man. Now, that being said, not a bad thing to have him as a backup.
I was going to ask you, do you want to keep him as a backup? Because he's the only guy that's not cross-trained, that can't play another position. No. So, out of all those backup linemen, he's the only one not doing it. Maybe you want to try to get as much value as you can now for the guy, and let one of them young guys, those young bucks, once Jack Stahl gets back, a guy like him, he can be a swing tackle. He can play both sides. You know what I'm saying? Or hell,
and you can certainly do that in the off season. I don't feel like there's any more value that would be right now that wouldn't be after this season, because it's not a scenario like we just talked about Goddard and Zach Ertz, and both of those guys are going to see significant playing time on the field because you can have two tight end sets and you can rotate tight ends in and out. With your left tackle, his ass better be playing the entire time, right?
Right.
So what more are we going to see from Andre Dillard at this point that we haven't seen already, or we're going to see more of at the end of the season? And I'm not even sure what you would even get back. Like, well, a strike round, you're not going to get a first round pick. You're not going to get a second round pick. I doubt you'd even get a third round pick for Andre Dillard. You're probably talking, late round stuff. At that point, I'd rather keep him as an insurance policy, especially because he's still on his rookie contract. You're paying him nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 7, I mean, like a 4th round pick, you don't think it'll be good enough to get for him if you got a 4th, an early 4th?
I think if the offer for a 4th was on the table, it would have already been done.
Yeah, true that.
It would have already happened. But he's still here.
And while we're on Mailata, I've been asking people, would you put Mailata on the goal line on 1 yard into the touchdown? Let him be that deep back. You seen his rugby highlights. He was stiff forming people. You line him up, maybe even with a fullback or something, and go right behind Brooks. That's a guaranteed touchdown. I think 100 out of 100 times you get a touchdown out of that.
Yeah, that's something that we all kind of wanted to see last year and the year before, and his rookie year. Well, shit, you see all those rugby highlights. Just give him a lot on the ball on the goal line. Now that he's your starting left tackle, I mean, a starting left tackle is worth his weight in gold.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at this point, I don't think risking injury, especially the fact that they're holding so many people out of preseason, they're injury conscious. Would I love to see it? Of course.
Maybe special situation, how Deshaun was. He wasn't our punt returner, but whenever we need a touchdown at the end of the game, we threw Deshaun back there. So maybe it's like one of them things, 1st and goal with like 20 seconds on the clock. Just go ahead and give the guy a shot.
Would I love to see it? Would I like to see it? Yeah, I think it would be funny. Do I think we'll see it? No. Now, what I will say is I would not be surprised at all in goal line where the tight end or one of the offensive linemen has to report is eligible.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of trick play, Nick Sirianni's bag of tricks, where it's Hurts and a little out route to the offensive tackle, to Mailata.
Yeah,
catch the ball. We every once in a while, a couple times a year, a couple teams are going to dust that one off and break it out. And it works. And he has the hands for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that at some point.
Yeah, because I heard reports that we're keeping Jack Stahl to play that fullback, F-back position. You know what I'm saying? Not only just play tight end, but he'd be like the F-back, where he's going to be playing some fullback this year as a lead block on some plays. So we didn't see it, obviously, in the preseason because I think that's one of the secrets they're holding.
Fullback? What's a fullback? We haven't seen a fullback in Philadelphia since John Ritchie. What the hell is a fullback?
Exactly, but think about it. If you got Miles Sanders running like that without a fullback, imagine if he had a lead back to go off of, that might help his game out a lot more too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And we should see with that. The other offensive line question would be, what do you think we should do with Landon Dickerson now that he's back off IR, practicing again? Do we need to redshirt him the whole year? Because I'm on the belief that if he's healthy, maybe not week 1, 2, 3, but come week 4 or 5, let's get this guy out there because I think his talent and his upside is probably big enough to take over a guy's spot like say a Malum.
What's up, Jordy?
Jordy?
Yeah, you drafted this kid kind of high. If he wasn't injured, he would have been a first-round pick. Somewhere in the teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think with Jason Kelce on the brink, and he's teetering on the edge of retirement. He's been calling retirement, and not being real candid about it, or not being real shy about it either. Kind of weighing his future at the end of every season, ever since the Super Bowl. With that kind of guy, you really want to you really want to think long term. So, not to say that this guy's injury prone, but he is coming off of injury and he has had some injury issues.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sometimes he dresses. I'm not trying to push it. Sayamalu is a serviceable left guard. You know
Well,
what I
that's what
mean?
I mean. Like,
Yeah.
we all know the upside of Sam Mall. Like, his ceiling. We know his ceiling. You
Yeah.
know, his ceiling is,
yeah.
he's,
Sayamalu is what he is. I mean,
yeah,
he's
he's
not
good.
gonna surprise anybody.
Yeah.
But with this guy, maybe see some time, but I would not push him.
I was saying like week 7, week 8, because if you're saying he's healthy now before the season starts, that's 8, 9 more weeks from now. You know what I'm saying? Well, not now anymore, but since the time he got, let back to start practicing again. That's like 10 weeks in. He's going to be itching to get on that field. Maybe about that time it'll be good. It'd be good to let him go ahead and go play, man. Especially if he's earning it in practice, obviously. You know what I'm saying? We're not the coaches, but I imagine by week 7 or 9, he's going to be on the second team looking like an All-American.
I'd imagine if you saw him, it would be not for good reasons. It would be either somebody got hurt along the offensive line or one of the offensive guards, Sayamalu, because I can't imagine Brandon Brooks is playing poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But, somebody's playing poorly. Kelsey gets hurt. You're like, I don't listen. I'm good with not seeing him because if I don't see him, that means things are going copacetic. Things are going fine. Everybody's healthy. I got no worries. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
Yeah, he said Sayamala isn't going to give you elite level play like Lane Kels, but he's still a good player. Yeah, I'm not saying when I say that about Sayamala, it is not a knock on him at all. You know what I'm saying? I know, we've seen Sayamala. He was good enough to win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good left guard, but I'm just saying the talent that, Landon Dickerson have and, putting a second round pick into him, you know what I'm saying? You can't always coddle these guys, into the NFL. You signed that contract. You're a big boy now. You're playing with the big dogs. And if you're elite, everybody projects him to be either an elite center or even guard, saying that he can probably play either one of the position. Hell, he can play any position on the offensive line, at a high level. But, elite status for center or for guard, then why not let the guy start that eliteness now? All it can do is help our offensive line. You get his big self. He's bigger than Sayamalo. Putting him next to big old Mailata, man. You have like two sides of the line with monsters on it. And that'd be a lot better for Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts, for that matter.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, I'd have trouble looking over that offensive line, I'll tell you.
They are some big boys over there. All right. Well, any good guys on defense you're really interested in looking at this year? You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of new players on that defensive side of the ball. One that comes to mind is the guy that everybody is claiming is the next Aaron Donald because of his size, his athleticism. Mr. Milton Williams over there. How you like Milton playing?
I think he'll be a good rotational guy. I mean, the reports of Hargrave coming out of training camp from the beats that have been there is Hargrave has been an animal. Mm-hmm. We all know what Fletcher Cox is. So, Milt probably is going to be one of those guys that you might see at end sometimes. You might see on the inside sometimes, just like they like to use BG. I mean, BG will be on the end sometimes. Sometimes they move him in the middle because they like to match up better, or you know what I mean. They want a little burst of speed in there. I like the flexibility that the entire off our defensive line is giving us, because another guy that had a really great camp was Josh Sweat. Then lost in the mix of all of this is Derek Barnett. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And oh yeah, by the way, there's this guy from Washington that's pretty damn good. Kerrigan, maybe, filling in, and he really hasn't practiced much, kind of dealing with an injury, but what's he all about? Is he our next Chris Long? So, and as I'm thinking, oh yeah, there's Derek Barnett, Josh Sweat's had a great camp, then there's Kerrigan, and where does Milt fit in? I haven't heard anything bad about any of the defensive line players. Mm-hmm. You can hear stuff like Andre Dillard's had a shit camp.
Yeah.
JJ Ortega or Travis Fulgham has had a shit camp. I can't remember any reports of any defensive lineman having said shit camp.
No.
None of them. Not a
Not
one.
one.
Yeah. So I mean that defensive line. Then you add another layer on top of that. I really think Gannon's defensive system. Like, listen, I was so tired. I was so tired of Jim Schwartz. I was so tired of his vanilla ass,
Yes.
boring ass,
Six defense.
non-aggressive ass,
Yeah,
plain
man.
ass,
No blitzing.
no blitzing ass,
Yeah.
playing six defense ass.
Yeah.
Defense. And I really think that this guy is going to mix it up a lot and be aggressive. I mean, we haven't seen aggressive since, Jim Johnson. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. So now you got the dogs on the line. Who knows who's blitzing? I think everyone's going to eat a little bit. I think everyone's going to eat a little bit.
Safety's going to be blitzing. The cornerback's
I
going to
think
be
everyone's
blitzing.
going
The
to eat.
linebacker's
Yeah.
going to be blitzing, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting to finally see that again, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Before we go to the linebackers, you just dropped something on me, man. How shocked were you that J. John made the team? And not only made the team, not just a practice squad. This guy made the 53-man roster.
I put an Instagram video because I was getting asked like a lot, like, you got to be kidding me. Fulgham gets released, and I had a feeling he was going to end up back on the practice squad. And J-Jaw, does not get cut after not, having a shit camp. And basically a couple reasons here. Number one, general managers don't like to admit they made a mistake, right?
Right.
So they will hang on to those first and second round picks, usually longer than they should. And reports were that, the room was kind of split on who they should take. And Jeffrey Lurie gave the nod to J. Jaw. So, general managers don't like, general managers don't like to admit they made a mistake. It's not on their list of favorite things to do. Owners never admit they make a mistake.
Right.
So if that was Lurie's guy, he's going to hang on to him and try to. So there's that factor.
Uh-huh.
Number two, okay. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt here. I can't think of one rookie or young wide receiver that Doug Peterson and his staff developed well.
None of them.
You can look at Greg Ward. Okay.
You
can look at Travis Fulgham. Okay. But unless it was a veteran wide receiver like an Alshon Jeffrey or a Torrey Smith or a Deshaun Jackson, they didn't develop Rager. They didn't develop J-Jaw. They didn't develop any of them. So Nick Sirianni is coming from a wide receivers coach background.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we spent the second round pick on this guy. We don't want to admit it, we're wrong. Nick Sirianni is a wide receivers coach. Maybe this new coaching staff can snap something into him and make him effective. So I just really think that's the reason why. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not a big J-Jaw guy.
I'm not a big J-Jaw. The only thing that's
J-Jaw.
good that I think they brought him back for is because he is a good run blocking receiver, and he plays good special. He can tackle and he can run block, but that's not what you're getting paid for, my guy.
Nah.
And that is something you have not been doing over the last 3 years. Everybody's hyped over the touchdown he got. Yeah, whatever. It's on a fourth team, third team, fourth team. That doesn't excite me very much. He should have did it. But the fact that he is making plays when we didn't see him make any plays, it's an upgrade. So yeah. Nick Sirianni is a receiver guru. So let's see. Maybe he can work some magic out of J-Jaw this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to give him one more year to try to develop. I mean, look how long they held on to Mac Hollins. And that guy was like a fourth or fifth round pick. You know what I mean? So I mean, he's just new, worse Mac Hollins.
Wolf.
What's up, Wolf?
Man. So let's get back to the defense. The linebackers. We brought over, Wilson from Minnesota and our new captain, Alex Singleton. Both guys over 150 tackles last year, tackling machines. How do you feel about this linebacker core as a whole?
I like the guy from Minnesota. I like Wilson, but I mean, Singleton. I want to be a big believer in Singleton.
He's a captain now.
I know he flies around the ball. And he 150 tackles last year probably wasn't. I mean, I probably could have got 150 tackles last year, or at least been in on some tackles. Because look, the offense was constantly off the field. The defense was on the field way too long, and he was the only guy out there trying to make a play.
Right.
You know, I mean, the offense, the opposing offense was always getting to the second and third level. So I mean, I want to believe, and certainly I'm hoping he's the guy. I wonder just if it isn't like when you're the best dude on a bad group, sometimes you're just average. You know what I mean? It makes you look better than you really are.
Yeah.
Because you're the speck of gold in the turd. You know, and the Eagles defense, that's not saying anything about Singleton, but the Eagles defense was terrible last year.
Right.
And he was a bright spot in just the shit sandwich that was our defense last year. So I'm just hoping that, like, listen, I'm going to keep an open mind for it. I want him to change my mind.
Right.
He certainly has the attitude and the ability to do that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. And then back to the secondary, another new guy back there. We got Mr. Anthony Harris from Minnesota as well. 2 years ago, he did lead the league in interceptions. Like I said, everybody had down years in the COVID year. A lot of players did. It's not like he was the only one. We had there's a lot of players across the league that had down years. I'm excited to see if he can get back to that elite level. And you got your boy McLeod. I just watched a video on that guy. He's moving pretty good in that knee brace. To have both of them back, that should be awesome.
And then Slay and Nelson, I think Nelson was a good signing.
Do you? Because I'm on the fence with Nelson. Because he's the only guy. Remember you talking about we haven't heard people. You really haven't heard too many DBs, having bad practice. But you heard Nelson get burned a lot. From our team, from other people's team, from our team again. Nelson got torched a lot. That kind of worries me because he was supposed to be, he's not great, but he's supposed to be that second corner, that's going to be able to handle all the pressure coming to him. And I don't think he was handling it. I know he's new team and all, but
Well, not only that, and I don't want to make excuses for the guy, but new team signed kind of late in everything. You know what I mean? What's up, Nikki? Signed kind of late in the process, so playing a lot of catch up. And you're all right. When we were talking about, I haven't heard a defensive lineman have nobody's had a shit camp. Nelson's a little bit of mixed reviews. The other thing that I'll say about that is just who else was like who else was going to play opposite Slay? You know what I mean? Maddox can't play the outside.
I was on the board. I wanted us to go get Howard. I would have gave a farm. I would have gave a first round pick. Give them that first round pick back. Go get Howard. Give Miami their first round pick back. And hell, you could have signed somebody else over there. Barnett. You could have signed Ertz.
But did Howard get moved?
No, he stayed. They gave him his money.
Yeah. So he stayed, and they gave him his money.
Yeah.
Which means that he was never on the trade block to begin with.
He was just doing it to get that money.
Yeah. This was just like either Philly sports talk fodder or Twitter rumors. But at what cost? that is but at what cost? Shout out to your husband. But at what cost?
Right?
Funny. Somebody just brought that video. I totally forgot about that thing until Birdman brought it into like this little EROCK collage that he did. At what cost? Yeah, that's funny.
Huh. Yeah. Legend, my guy. You legend. Shout out to the 18 in the chat. Please hit that like for your guy. You know what I'm saying? We are moving our way up to 700 on the road to 1K, in the first 2.5 months, 3 months, going. Let's keep this train going. Also, we got a new nation, Birdgang Nation Sports Network. We're launching this Sunday. You guys go like the channel, go subscribe to the channel. All you guys, there's going to be some great content creators on that channel, my guys. And also, if the birthday's coming up, go get you a La Terrain watch, my guy. Use promo code Birdgang31 and get that 10% off. I had to throw it out there. Shout out to the 18 in the chat. Much love.
But at what cost? Yeah, no, thank you, Nikki. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Awesome
pretty smart.
sports in the building.
What's up,
What
Austin?
up?
What's
Yeah,
happening?
man.
So
So
what the hell were we just talking about?
we're talking about the cornerbacks because I
oh,
was
the
talking,
quarterbacks. Yeah.
and
So
then if we didn't,
I lost your audio, buddy. Can't hear you. There you are.
okay,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can hear you now. Yeah.
if we didn't get those guys, I was even on the boat of letting McPherson play. You know, because he had a decent camp. He had a decent camp. He's a rookie. You might as well let him get his rookie, sea legs going. He's going to take a couple lumps early, but he was playing pretty decent in a preseason there. And he's a bigger body, and he's
Yeah,
a ball hawk from a small school.
yeah, the thing about when you have a corner like Slay on the other side of the field, you need somebody good. You need a Bobby Taylor to a Troy Vincent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You need I'm trying to think of another example. You need somebody who knows what the hell they're doing because they're not throwing at Slay's direction a lot.
Mm-hmm.
His job is to lock that side of the field down, which means offenses are going to be targeting that. Do you really want a rookie from a small school? That's not to say that he can't develop into something, but as of this year, I really think you want somebody with at least some sort of NFL pedigree that knows what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Opposite Slay, because it's one thing when you got like a Jalen Mills who can't cover and whoever else. I mean, it's like pick your poison. You can go on either side of the field. When Slay's locking down one side of the field, that other corner has to know what the hell they're doing out there.
It's inside the chat, Nick. You can look up at the top of the chat. It's in there. But yeah, I'm just saying, like you said, he's gonna take his lumps early. But that's how you get these guys to be good. I'm under the impression like a lot of people always want a rookie. If they're not a first round pick, or a second round pick, they feel like it's like automatic. Third and fourth and fifth rounders gotta sit. And we've seen good players come out of those rounds. That start. So it's like if he was earning the position, I guess if that was the case, they would have never signed Nelson in the first place.
Yeah.
But like you said, they could have just been scared and wanted to make sure, they had some reinforcements there.
Yeah, I like it. I like the signing. I feel comfortable with it.
190 yards, Jinx Wood. Are you talking about rushing? Are you talking about total? Are you talking about passing? Because that's garbage if you're saying total. He's going to get way more than 190 yards game one.
I think he's going to have over 190 yards passing.
Yeah. I think he's going to have close to 300 yards passing and 190 yards rushing. Yeah, 190 ain't nothing, man. But yeah, so we got that defense down. As a whole, give me our offense and our defense. Top 5, top 10 offense.
I think top 15.
If everybody, this is a question. If everybody stays healthy for the season,
top 15 in both.
Top 15,
and I think you can win the division top 15 in both. Like if you take a look at the rest of the NFC East, I think the Giants are going to be. I'm not a big Giants guy. Bottom 15 in both, right? Or bottom second half, bottom half of the league in both. I don't believe in their offense. I don't believe in Danny Dimes. Saquon Barkley's got questions.
Danny food stamps is garbage.
Yeah, and I'm not a big believer in their defense. If you look at the Washington Redskins, I think they'll be bottom half offense, top half, top 10, possibly even top 5 defense. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys, I think they'll have a top 5 offense, bottom half of the league, way bottom third of the league defense. If the Eagles can kind of stay even keeled, just above, like just teetering, and if they can rank between 10 and 15 on both offense and defense, I think they win a division. Flat out.
Okay. I like that, because I think we have a top 5 line on both sides.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fully healthy.
I'll
said
give you that.
She was in the Broncos live stream, and they're pretty upset of losing McCain. Had a very nice camp in the DB you can get great value from anywhere on the board and beyond. Hey, like I said, I didn't watch too much about the guy, but I heard about it before we got on, and we talked about that earlier. And hopefully he is this baller. I did watch the highlight. I did watch. He picked the ball in the end zone, ran 100 yards for a touchdown, like 106 yards for a touchdown back. He was really fast, and he looked like he had good ball skills. He played that pass pretty well, and he took it to the house. So hopefully this could be the diamond in the rough we picked up right before the season, because he did get activated straight to the 53-man roster. He's not on no practice squad. He's on the roster. We got cornerbacks like Chiquette, who's still on the, practice squad. And who else we signed back on the practice squad? I'm trying to think. I know Chiquette got signed back. And then Craig James. Craig James got signed back to the practice squad. So, man, he must be good if he's like jumping those guys to go straight to the active roster.
All right, Birdgang, I got 10 minutes before I got to bounce. Now, I know you wanted to touch on this Eagles all-time team, right?
All right, yeah. Let's go ahead and get that going then, guy. This your all-time Eagles team.
Okay.
I'm gonna start it off. Give me what you got. You get 2 quarterbacks.
All right, you gotta name the positions, then I'll name the players.
Okay, give me 2 quarterbacks.
Donovan McNabb, Nick Foles.
3 running backs.
Brian Westbrook, Steve Van Buren, LaShawn McCoy.
All right, 2 tight ends.
Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
Ertz.
Ertz, all right. And then give me 4 receivers.
Owens, can we count Owens?
Yeah, you can count Owens. You can count anybody that played in the Midnight Green, my guy.
Owens, Carmichael. See, when you talk about guys like Tommy McDonald, like I never saw Tommy McDonald play, so I mean, but all right. Owens, Carmichael, Djax. 4? I got to give you 4.
Yeah, one more.
Let's go Tommy McDonald.
All right.
All right.
Give me your starting offensive line.
Starting offensive line. I'm only going to go 1, right? Jason Peters, left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go the other side. John Runyon, right tackle. Boomer Brown at the guard position. Jason Kelsey at center. I need another guard.
Who'd you say, Boomer Brown?
Yeah.
That's a new guy on the list. Yay for the newbie.
But he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. But I'm just saying no one's ever said him. So that's good.
Guard.
Mm-hmm.
I need another guard.
You got Brandon Brooks. You got Mathis, Hermans, Sean Andrews. Depends what,
Sean Andrews was so good, but it was such a flash in the pan. Like, he was good for like 2 years. I'll go Hermans just because I like Todd. I like Todd.
Hermans. Yeah. All right, give me your 4 defensive linemen on this team, my guy.
Reggie. Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
Fletcher.
Nice.
Clyde.
Nice. 3 linebackers.
Trot. Trot. Willie T. I'm trying to think of a Mike. Help me out.
We got D'Amico Ryans. We got Nigel Bradham. We got Jordan Hicks. You got Stuart Bradley. You got.
Can I give you 2 middles and just leave it?
At just be 3 linebackers. Don't.
I don't got to fill the Sam and the Will and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Trot, Bergie, Willie T.
You said Burgess?
Bergie, Bill Bergie.
Oh, Bill Bergie. Another guy makes the list for the first time. For
the first time, Bergie made the list?
Yeah, those 2 guys are the first time
How many people did you ask about this?
We've got I got 125 videos or 150 videos, so at least freaking 100 of them have
gotten. Nobody said Bergie.
No one said Bergie. Not even Corey Simon, not Bobby Taylor, and none of those guys.
You had Corey Simon and Bobby Taylor on the show?
Yeah, you can watch the video. Yeah, it was a nice
Oh,
show,
I'm gonna
man.
have to go back. Oh, look at you. Nice.
Yeah, I've had
Nice.
those guys on.
Awesome.
Let's see. We're at cornerbacks. So give me 3 cornerbacks.
Eric Allen,
Got to put him in there.
Troy Vincent, Eric Allen, Troy Vincent. Oh, and I'm gonna go Bobby Taylor on the other side.
Taylor, yeah. We had so many good ones back in the day. You know, we were so spoiled in the secondary back in the day. Give me 3.
Just to answer the question, Nikki. Let's go 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Yeah. Wait, wow. What do you think?
Oh man, that's rough. I'd be so mad if we go 8 and 9 this year.
Why though?
Because we have too much talent on the
roster. Listen. Let's take the expectations. Let's lower them.
12 and 5.
Oh my
Eagles
God.
are going 12 and 5.
Based off of what?
Off the 4th place record schedule that we got. Our hardest games are the first 6. As long as we can get out of there 3 and 3 or 4 and 2, somewhere in that range, then the rest of the schedule's cake. Our division's cake. I don't think Dak's gonna make it the whole year. You know, I don't think Fitzmagic got magic to last the whole year to be good.
No.
And then I don't think Danny Food Stamps is doing anything with the Giants. So,
no.
12. I thought my floor is 10 and 7 though. 10 and 7. Like 7 games.
That's the floor?
Yeah. We better not lose more than 7 games.
Bruh.
This year.
Bruh. Listen,
we're gonna see. That's why I keep saying it every time on my record. That I'm gonna be that guy at the end of the season. Have to come out. Well, I guess I was wrong. Or I'm gonna be that guy.
Listen. That's
I
okay.
told you so.
That's
first round bye, baby.
That's okay.
Woo!
Listen, I think there's a chance that the Eagles win the division, and they got to win more 8 games to win the division. I could certainly see that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, listen, I'm getting that real heavy, 2000. Jinx. I'm getting real heavy.
17-0 until proven otherwise, James. That's why I love you, my guy. We're on the same page, fandom.
I'm getting heavy 2016 vibes, right?
And even then, we were 9 and 7, weren't we?
What?
Weren't we 9 and 7 2016?
No. I think it's the other way around.
7 and 9.
7 and 9, something like that. We had a losing record,
but our team's better than that team. My deal, I think everybody going off a record off of just last year. You got to look at how many anomalies happened last year. The whole team was hurt. The coach sucked ass, and the quarterback sucked ass with the whole team hurting, and we didn't run the ball. There's so many ends. You can keep adding on to why it was 4 games winning that everybody feels good to hear a 7 or 8 or something. But we always been a good team, man. That was 1 year out of the last, 7 years that we've had a crappy team, man. I don't think it's going to be a trend. That was like an anomaly.
Okay.
That's my opinion. That's just me.
I know it is. Listen, my expectation for the I don't want to put a number on it. I just want to see the flashes that I saw. I want to get the same sort of butterflies and tingles in certain places that I saw in 2016, where it was like, oh, shit, they're on to something. They didn't do it this year because it was the first year with a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback and a brand new system on defense and everything. But shit, they are on to something. That's what I want to feel like. I don't want to put a number on it.
Okay, don't put a number on it, but playoffs or not.
Maybe.
We gotta see the division, though.
Maybe.
If then we can win the division, that's a playoff.
We could, maybe.
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 Let's finish this one up, my guy. 3 safeties. 6 and 9, Nikki. Wow.
Nice.
Hurting my heart.
Wait, if they're 6 and 9, that's only 15 games.
Yeah, you need some more games, Nikki. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the 2 wins on there. So we're gonna change that to 8 and 9.
8 and 9, exactly right.
8 and 9, and that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Safeties would be Dawkins, Malcolm. How many do I got to give you? 2, right?
3.
Oh shit.
Because those two are easy, I feel like.
Oh, like Andre Waters. Andre Waters.
And then give me your kicker, obviously Akers, right?
Yeah.
And punter, Donnie Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's a punter. Who gives a shit? Yeah, Donnie Jones.
And then who's your defensive coordinator?
Jim Johnson.
And your head coach?
Andy
Reid. All right, man. Hey, that was a great team, my guy. I like it. You had two newcomers to the list. You know what I'm saying? What up? Sorry, Smoke a Lot. You know, you came a little late. We're about to end the stream, but thanks for stopping in. Please hit that like while you're in here, my guys. We still got 15 in the chat. Much love to all you guys. You know, EROCK, tell them where they can find you at on your social platforms, my guy.
I am on Twitter, EROCK_Eagles, EROCK_Eagles. Instagram, The Mighty EROCK. And I was always on YouTube, The Mighty EROCK.
Yeah, so go sub them up. All the links are in the chat. Once again, go sub up the network channel. The links in the chat. We got a new network starting with a lot of great content creators. You know, Birdgang Nation Sports Media is coming Sunday. You know, first game of the season. We will be launching our first show. So go ahead and sub them up. If you haven't subscribed to either one of us, sub. And much love to you guys. Till next time, I got another live coming on in an hour, so come back and check us out. Much love to you, EROCK. Always love having you on the show, my guy. And whenever you want to come on this season, you can come on this show. You can come on any show on the network. Anything you want to do, my guy, is always open for you, my guy.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. So like I always say, fly, Eagles, fly. And until next time, this Birdgang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Birdgang31, and we are out. Peace.